are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much.
So I definitely am curious about the way you like to work, and how much for you is in advance I'll storyboard it out, and how much is finding it in the moment when you're on the location?
It's both, really. I mean, I tend to, on the last few projects now, I've storyboarded everything. But storyboarding, not in the traditional sense of it's a plan, an absolute plan that we stick to and share with, you don't put the storyboards up on the wall and go, this is what we're shooting next. What I tend to do is draw the whole film out so that I can, so it forces me to think about every aspect of it. And then I'll show the other departments the drawings, but then on the day I don't look at the drawings. And then we find it in the moment in the space. So it's both.
Are you someone that does a lot of extra coverage? Or I'm just curious about the way you like to work, or are you sort of like, I know I'm going to do this in a medium shot, we don't need anything else, or do you know what I mean?
Different on different films. So like on High Rise with single camera mainly, with a second unit shooting with an agenda where they go out and shoot other stuff, but not in the same room as the main unit. But on the film we did after that, Free Fire, we were shooting 3 cameras and 4 cameras. So it's just different each time.
There's going to be a lot of people that know your work, know what this film is about, but there's going to be a lot of people that have no fucking idea about this particular project.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about the material and why you wanted to take it on?
The film is based on a book by J.G. Ballard called High Rise, which was written in the 70s. And Ballard wrote Crash, which was adapted by Cronenberg, and Empire of the Sun, which is the first Christian Bale film that was directed by Steven Spielberg. So he'd written 3 books after his wife had died, and he was in a kind of deep depression. And he wrote Crash, Concrete Island, and High Rise, and it's kind of dystopian trilogy, loose trilogy. And High Rise is about a luxury tower block which has got various classes of people, kind of lower middle class at the bottom, going up to upper class at the top. And the building is meant to be this kind of escape from the dirtiness of the city, but it turns out the building's slightly badly constructed, and everybody starts to get on each other's nerves, and eventually it turns out into a full-blown class war between the different floors. And the story follows, the book kind of follows 3 characters: Richard Wilder, who's played by Luke Evans in the movie, who's like a kind of documentarian filmmaker, failed filmmaker, and Robert Lang, who's played by Tom Hiddleston, who's a lecturer and a doctor, and Anthony Royal, who's played by Jeremy Irons, who's the architect of the whole building and represents the kind of the higher, the top of the building.
I'm curious about do you ever make what did you learn from any friends and family screenings or any test screenings on High Rise that maybe impacted the final cut, or did you not show it to anyone?
No, we had a cast and crew screening, and that was it, and then it was done.
So you basically have final edit. You can do what you want.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I like it. How long was your first cut compared to the finished film?
It came down from about 2.5 to just under 2. So there was it's about half an hour of extra stuff that we cut out.
Now, is that, when you say your first cut's 2.5, is that an assembly cut, or that's like actually a cut that you're pretty happy with?
No, that's an assembly cut, And what I did is, as well, which was different on this film, is like I did it on Film England as well, but I edited as I went along. So I'd edit in the evening the rushes from that day and then look at it all. And so by the time I'd finished the shoot, we had the assembled cut, but it was a pretty good assembled cut. It was finessed. It wasn't just slapped together. And that was about 2.5, 3 or something like that. But then what we tend, the process is then we take it home, and then Amy Jump, who wrote the script as well, and I sit down and we throw away that cut that I've done, and we start again from scratch from the rushes, and then reconstruct it together.
And was there a scene or two that came really close to being in it that ultimately was removed?
I can't remember. Yeah, stuff comes in and out all the time. It's there's nothing. I don't think there was anything massive that came out. Most of it, because the script was so dense and complex, it was very hard to take bits out without suddenly things collapsing all the way down the timeline. So it's I think I've done lots of different types of movies, and like some of them have been improvised, and those ones you can shoot hundreds of hours and find it in there. But then the ones which are scripted, like Field and High Rise, there really isn't anywhere to go or to hide. If it's broken, you're in trouble. So you kind of it's more about finessing what you've got rather than pulling out scenes.
Film or digital, and why?
Digital, and it's a tricky one. I mean, there's a school of thought that would said, you do a period film, you got to shoot on the medium that they shot at the time. I don't buy that. I mean, I live now in this moment, and I'm not embarrassed about that or trying to hide that. And digital is the medium that I've grown up on. I wouldn't have been able to make any movies if there hadn't been for digital cameras. It's not, so I don't have it's not like I'm aiming to get to film because of some kind of nostalgic love of it. I think that when you look at like film image versus digital image, it's not necessarily, it's not like orgasmically different. It's just different, So yeah, I'm not someone who bangs the gong about film particularly.
Well, a lot of filmmakers I speak to talk about that they use vintage lenses on digital cameras. Are you someone that does that, or what kind of lenses do you like to use? I'm getting real nerdy.
No. Well, I mean, on Field in England, we built lenses from scratch, and on this one, we just used the standard. It's just a set of super speeds. It wasn't. I don't think. Yeah, there wasn't anything. Because it's more about the being able to capture the performance and being able to move fast than it is about that tiny percentage of a look that those things can give you. I think it's all right on a short or on an ad or something like that, but when you're having to process, you're having to gather so much information and under such pressure, it's like the kind of pyramid for me usually is getting the performance. Once you've got that, then everything else falls into place. It's not led by a kind of I'm not a director who demands that there's like marks put down everywhere and focus points set, and then the actors have to come in and move through that space to get my perfect frame, because I think you would get that design look, but then you lose in the performance end of it.
You've gotten to do some really cool things over the last few years. Did it get any better than being able to work on Doctor Who? Or was that like still near the top?
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute treat to get to do Doctor Who, and a childhood dream. And also I got to go on set with my son, and he got to do it. And I had the incredible nerdy feedback of imagining how my mind would have been blown if I'd have met Tom Baker when I was a kid, So that. Yeah, it was an unbelievable pleasure. What
did you hypothetically borrow from set? Because I know you wouldn't actually take anything. Yeah. This is all imaginary.
I didn't. I tell you what I did is I added stuff. So I because I was the first director in, we got to change bits of the TARDIS and stuff. So me and Magni Augustin, DOP, changed the colour of the central column of the TARDIS. So that's why it's the colour it is, and it's not green anymore. That's us. And that makes me smile a lot. And then we also did the Tommy Westphal snow globe. Do you know about that? You know about this thing that with what's it called? St. Elsewhere. Do you know about that?
Yes. The ending is
100%. Yeah. So you know what that is. So inside the snow globe is all of American television. Yeah. You know that? Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Well, because the dream, St. Elsewhere is a dream.
Sure.
That's inside the
spoiler, go on.
Yeah, that's trapped inside thing. But then, because Elsewhere had crossovers with so many shows, so The Wire is in there, and LA Law, and going out and out and out and spreading out. So I got the art department to build one of those snow globes, and then I put that in the TARDIS.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't put that one together.
Yeah.
And I feel like I failed completely.
You need to hit the internet and find out what it means.
No, I know what it means now, but I'm mad at myself for not having that information sitting down right now.
Well, you can edit it to make it look like
I won't. I don't mind making myself look stupid.
No, it's fine.
I'm mad at myself. I'm definitely curious. You just did a movie that takes place in Boston in like the 70s. I'm from Boston. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on recently in the movies with Boston in the 70s. Yeah. What drew you to that period and tease what people can look forward to?
The kind of structure of it is a bit weird because I wanted to do something that was to do with the IRA buying guns, to take back to thing, and then Boston seemed to make a certain amount of sense. It doesn't deal with people specifically from Boston within the setting, but they kind of meet up there because it's a kind of an agreed place, and then they're going to take the guns back down to New York and ship them out on the QE2. Apparently, they used to happen a lot. But and then it's basically the idea was to do an action film that's in a very constricted space. So it's like very, the first half hour is the dealing with they come in and get the guns out and inspect the guns and all talk about it, but they don't know that the two sets, there's the two main sets of people who are the gun dealers and the guys buying the guns, but then behind them are another two set of people who are the people who carry the boxes, and those sets of people were in a bar the night before, unbeknownst to everyone, had a massive fight, and when they see each other across the table, there's something's going to give, at which point everybody gets shot.
When you do an enclosed space action movie after the raid, how much does that play in your brain? They did it, because that's just an incredible achievement. In my opinion.
No, the raid's much more. You see, in this, everyone is shot, so they're all on the ground. So there's no jumping about or running about. It doesn't have any of that dynamism. It's totally different. It's more it's tension and ballistics. So it's lots of shooting of guns and what bullets do and how long you've got to live after you've been shot and bleeding out and all that kind of stuff. It's more it's like from that point on it's all shot from about an inch off the ground.
When can fans look forward? Are you aiming for a festival on that one, or?
Will it be ready in the new year? So
possibly Sundance.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, if I get a wiggle on with it, but I think Sundance. I think the entry stuff for Sundance is like now, so probably not.
I think they might make exceptions for you. It's possible.
We'll see.
Maybe.
It depends how ready it is.
Yeah, I completely understand. I'm going to run out of time with you soon, but I've been playing a game with people, and I would like to play with you. It's called hopefully Mike can pick me up.
Yeah.
It's called Save or Kill. One of these things you can save. One of these is erased from existence forever.
Right.
What do you save? It's a personality test.
Oh, great. Okay.
Okay, so and these are not easy. So let me start with that. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. Yeah.
The Wire or Mad Men?
The Wire, because I've not seen all of Mad Men yet.
Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad, because I've seen all of that.
Zelda or Mario?
Mario's boring. Fucking Zelda's much more interesting.
Yeah. Han Solo or Indiana Jones?
Han Solo. Yeah.
The Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Well, that's a tough one. Stones.
I think I have to wrap with you, so I'll leave it with. And we'll see if you'll answer this because it's fucking brutal. Scorsese or Spielberg?
Spielberg, man.
Some people, something, I see both sides, but some people totally are like, I can't answer that.
No.
Their hands up.
Yeah, well, it's
I think they're gonna let me have another second.
Oh, okay.
Ask you, DC or Marvel?
Oh shit.
There we go.
DC.
Sopranos or Walking Dead?
The Walking Dead.
Back to the Future or Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters, because there's 3 of the Back to the Future movies.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh, no, both of them.
On that note, I'm gonna stop it there and say thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man.
Let me hit stop.